Welcome back to the channel, everybody, and I hope you're doing fine. So today we have another missive for hunger. It's the third one, and we're gonna talk about armor. As always, I'm gonna drop the source material in the description below, and I would say we just dive into it. Sweet, and here we go. Missive III Armor, a closer look at how armor works in hunger. Hello Living, of all the details revealed in our last trailer, few drew as much attention as the armor and the tools used to maintain it. We want to take you deeper into one of hunger's most defining systems, how protection, repair and survival truly function in the world after the end. The role of armor in hunger. Armor plays a crucial part in survival. Your chest armor carries its own durability, functioning as a secondary layer of health that absorbs incoming damage. Other pieces, such as helmets and greaves, act as damage modifiers, providing protection but without their own durability to restore. Now when it comes to durability, you have to be a little bit careful how it actually works, because when we look at games like Escape from Tarkov where you have durability, you can repair the items, but they will always have less and less and less max durability until you have to toss them in the trash. This is not how durability works in hunger. So in hunger, the chest armor plate gives you basically more hit points. And with the right tools or consumables, you can get that up to full during the raids. So I have here my inventory, and as you can see, I am wearing right now a rare chest plate. Provides 3 bars. And over here, you can see that I got an epic Black Dragoon helmet. And that one reduces the additional damage from headshots by 75%. So that is quite a bit, but let me tell you exactly how this maths, right? So you normally have 100% damage bonus when you deal a headshot. So you have the base damage multiplied, well, by 2. However, when you have a helmet, it's not like the whole headshot deals 75% less damage. You do your regular damage, in case of the purple one. From the bonus damage, you take 75% off. Right, so it's not like you run around with the helmet and you, oh yeah, nice, I take no damage at all. But we're gonna talk about the single items in a second. Let's continue. Our goal is to ensure armor feels impactful and worthwhile without creating an unbridgeable skill gap. A less experienced armored player should not automatically defeat a highly skilled unarmored opponent. Armor should provide a clear benefit, yet remain surmountable through ability and strategy. To keep your protection intact, players can use a range of armor repair tools and consumables, each with its own rhythm and risk. These fall into 2 categories: repeated use tools and single or limited use consumables. Now, the chest armor and the helmet is something that everybody can equip, but in case you want to equip the leg armor, you need to spend some mastery points. Let me show you real quick. And as you can see, I don't have a leg armor slot. So we need to go to our mastery tree. Then we go to survival, and yep, I have 0 points in that right now. Just ignore this is work in progress. And right here is the leg armor. Unlock the ability to equip leg armor. So you have to spend 5 points in tier 1 to get this one. And although it's not a lot of points, keep in mind that you can't skill everything. So you really have to consider how important is leg armor for you. How often do I get shot in the leg or people stab me in the leg? So here, for example, I have rare leg armor, reduces damage to legs by 30%. And that means flat damage reduction. Now, when we check out the description of the helmet, it says reduces the additional damage from headshots by 75%. And we're gonna talk about the armor system a little bit more, but I just wanna say one thing. Armor is important, but it does not feel like you're a walking tank, right? So I played a lot of Escape from Tarkov, and the moment you have, like, you know, plate carrier, tier 6 armor, or whatever it's called right now, and the enemy has trash ammo, yeah, good luck. You can even equip face shields, and then you're even more of a walking tank. I'm not saying that's bad, it's a design decision, right? It makes good loot, something that everybody wants, and you do get an advantage in hunger. And if I compare this to hunger, if I remember correctly, the Louisville rifle, and that's a green single-shot rifle, can one-tap a player with a headshot as long as they don't have armor, or deal like 90 damage or something like that with 100 max HP. So it's really, really a lot. And the moment you have armor, I think you can tank an additional bullet. So it's not like, oh yeah, this guy is now suddenly running around being a bullet sponge. The TTK in hunger is, or will be most likely, pretty short. But hey, we're hopefully gonna have a playtest again where we can play around with the armor system a little bit more to see, does it feel good? or does it need some tuning? But let's keep going here. Visual representation intent. We made a deliberate decision not to visually represent armor on characters in Hunger. Doing so would have greatly limited our ability to create distinctive, eccentric, and varied character appearances and cosmetics, one of the visual cornerstones of the game. Because Hunger's balance keeps the difference in survivability between no armor and top-tier armor within a narrow range, we felt it was less necessary to convey exact armor state visually. There are very few situations in Hunger where you would engage an opponent and later regret it based purely on their apparent gear. This is also because the general appearance works as a great proxy for armor too, and several other factors that may influence an engagement. A character's cosmetic rarity, the quality of their bag, and the weapons they carry all serve as strong visual cues to their general level of equipment. Over time, players learn to read these signals naturally. For those seeking more precise information, masteries and tools offer ways to discern exact armor type and condition. In combat, hit markers, sound, and impact feedback further communicate armor status. Systems inspired by other titles that have successfully balanced clarity with creative freedom. So when it comes to this chapter, I have a little bit of mixed feelings. At first I was like, I don't like this. Everybody will look the same and will be kind of boring. How am I supposed to know if my enemy is strong or not? And that is important to pick your fights. In Tarkov, you see that when somebody is fully geared walking tank or if he's like in scav stuff. But you know which other game does not do it like Tarkov and does it exactly like this? And that would be Arc Raiders. In Arc Raiders, you have no idea what kind of armor the enemy is running. Purple shield, blue shield, green shield, no shield at all. You don't know. They run around only in their cosmetics, right? Sure, you can see the guns, and the moment you fight them, you will quickly realize what they are running. But yeah, it's not a big issue in Arc Raiders, not at all. So maybe in Hunger it will be the same. Yeah, you can see the backpacks then from people in Hunger, and when they run around with a halberd or something like that, or a Zweihänder, then you know, okay, this guy might mean business. And keep in mind, in Hunger, some cosmetics you can only get by killing bosses that the Hunger team at least claims they should be difficult. In Arc Raiders so far, or as far as I know, you can just buy all the cosmetics. So it says absolutely nothing about their skill level. And maybe with this, you can actually troll people. You are fully maxed out character, fully mastery levels in PvP, and you run around in the level 1 cosmetics and no cosmetics at all on your weapons. Maybe you can bait a bloodthirsty player into a PvP fight that might surprise your opponent a little bit. So yeah, early concerns were everybody runs around and looks the same, but we will have to see how many cosmetics they will actually add, and I saw already a couple, and they will add a lot. So as long as I have not copy-paste Marie's and Gabriel's in my matches, I think I will be content with this. Let's keep going. Let's talk about the Armor Tongs. Armor Tongs. The Armor Tongs represent the repeated use type. They can be used as often as needed, so long as they remain in your inventory. They're slow, deliberate, and require dedicated focus, best used between fights rather than during them. Unlike the faster single-use armor plates that instantly replace damaged plating, the Tongs gradually restore your armor's integrity over time. They must be equipped to your tool slot and actively used. Because of their reliability and permanence, the Tongs are invaluable after battle, but risky to use under pressure. Let me quickly show you how the Tongs work. So whenever you take damage, it depletes your armor first, and then afterwards it takes your health. Take out your Tongs and start repairing. How long this repair takes depends on the rarity of your Tongs. They go from grey up to legendary. But even with the higher tier Tongs, this can take quite a bit. And I'm a fan of that, because that means that you always have a way to repair your armor after a fight. Repairing during a fight though, not so much. And with some knowledge, you can actually find these Tongs very easily, or if you have the right profession, you can even craft them so you don't run out of Tongs. But honestly, the grey ones are rather easy to find. For example, in toolboxes or in workbenches, I find them non-stop. Keep in mind when I say this though, we don't know how the final drop rate of all the items will be. A mechanic that I absolutely loved in PvP There's nothing more annoying than somebody very quickly healing up or repairing the armor non-stop. But on the other hand, I hate it when I had a massive PvP fight and then I limp around on 5 HP and, I don't know, 3 armor. And the next guy who just looks in my direction and I die. So after a fight, there should always be a way to slowly get back to, you know, a combat state that is not a pushover. We talked now about the repair tongs. Let's have a look at the armor plates. Where the armor tongs represent patience and persistence, armor plates are immediacy made manifest. They're single-use, high-impact consumables that restore sections of your chest armor in one decisive action. Unlike the tongs, plates do not meant to repair, they replace. Each plate is a prefabricated segment of protection, slotted or affixed to your existing armor to restore its defensive capacity. Once used, it's gone. And I think I showed it already in my previous videos, but you know what? Let me showcase to you guys really quick. So the chest plate that I have right here is epic. That means 4 bars of armor. So on top of my regular 100 hit points, I get 80 on top. You saw already how long it took with the tongs. So let's use some of these armor plates. I brought some mid and high tier ones, replacing 3 and 4 bars at once, which is pretty spicy if I dare say so. Okay, I'm gonna talk about PvP and armor system at the end. Let's just finish the article first. In the field, this makes armor plates a tactical choice that can bring you back from the brink during a fight, quickly restoring integrity that would otherwise take minutes to recover. But that advantage comes at a cost. Scarcity, weight, and commitment. Plates occupy standard inventory space, meaning they compete with the rest of your carried supplies. Ammunition, healing, tools, and salvage. Carry too many and you lose room for other essentials. Carry too few and you may find yourself exposed at the worst possible moment. Their rarity and potency scale much like the tongs, from leather plates found in ruined caches to the Damascus plates produced by skilled craftspeople. Each tier restores progressively more of your armor's bars, reflecting both the quality of the material and the skill of its maker. In practice, armor plates are your rapid response to a bad situation, a means to re-enter the fight, to survive one more engagement, or to buy enough time to use your tongs in safety. Armor repair in practice. All armor repair items currently sit within the tool category, equipable and usable, meaning they share space with other functional gear such as lanterns, traps, and spyglasses. For now, every repair action hunger is a commitment, something to be done with intention, not haste. The choice between a slow, reusable tool like the armor tongs and a faster consumable armor plate is part of the tension that defines the game's survival loop. As hunger evolves beyond early access, more tools and gadgets will be introduced to help players maintain, treat, and modify armor in new ways, expanding the tactical choices available in the field and deepening how players prepare between expeditions. Alright, sweet. So let me share a little bit my experience that I had during the last playtest and also while playtesting the game right now. First of all, it's not like you find non-stop high-tier armor plates, because, yeah sure, if somebody runs around with 20 armor plates, how am I supposed to down the guy? Not the case. First of all, it takes a while to actually use the armor plates, so while somebody is hitting you, you cannot put your weapon away, that takes a little bit of time, then take your armor plate out, that takes a little bit of time, and then do this move. You know, you will die before you finish the animation. It's not that fast. The next thing is, and I don't know if this is intentional or not, you could swap armor mid-combat. So when somebody hits you and you run around with 5 chest armors and 1 breaks, you just quickly open your inventory, swap the armor, and you're fully repaired. To that one guy that I fought during the last playtest, who I did this to, I'm very sorry. In reality though, I don't know how efficient this will be or how worth it will be, because when you die, and you can still die when people gang up on you, there's so much gear lost. And especially the higher tier armor, blue and upwards, is not that easy to get. Sure, gray and green, you find it almost everywhere. But the higher tier ones, especially starting with epic, yeah, stockpiling that was difficult during the playtest, as it should be. It should be rare. Also, having the higher tier stuff being rare means you can't run it every round, which is good. Another thing that I absolutely loved, at least for the tools and the mats, is that the game lets you cycle through your tools and consumables without opening your inventory. showcase time. I have the repair tongs, but I also have my armor plates. Now, I don't want to open the inventory while being in PvP combat, right? So while being in safety, I use the repair tongs to save my armor plates and to top up my armor. But maybe I decide I need the armor plate right now. So I can skip opening the inventory, I just hit the hotkey for my tool slot and it will cycle through the tools. And since I have only the armor plate and the repair tongs, it will go to the armor plate, without me actually switching the item in my inventory. Now, while this does sound nice, it's not just a good thing, and I am not 100% sure if I like this in the game. Because during PvP, it's awesome that I don't have to open my inventory. That's a no-brainer, right? Hit the hotkey again, switch from the repair tongs to your armor plates. Nice. However, when you have a raid that goes for a little bit, and you bring, for example, you know, you want to extract a second repair tong that you found as a backup for later, or you find green armor that you want to save for other characters or for later, for a rainy day, you know. Suddenly, your character switches through all of them. So you go from your repair tongs to the other repair tongs, to the green armor, to the blue armor. And suddenly, opening the inventory and quickly equipping it directly is faster. It all has its pros and cons. It's the same with the healing too. When you have like your blue ampule and you have your blood bag, and you loot a few more healing tonics, yeah, suddenly you go from the blood bag to the gray ampule, to the green one, to the blue one, and that can be sometimes a little bit clunky. Sometimes it's amazing. Maybe it would be cool during early access to give me, the player, the option what I want to have in the cycle rotation. Maybe tag items and say, hey man, for quick access, use these 3 items. And for everything else that I loot, don't. Maybe. Let's see. And one thing that I read here in this missive, and it's weird because we didn't have that in the playtest, is a weight system. I don't know if I like that. So either you're limited by inventory space or weight. Both is might be a little bit too restrictive. This is something that I don't like in Arc Raiders. I loot one good gun from my enemy and very often I'm already over encumbered. That does not spark joy. Okay? So, will there be a weight system in Hunger? We played the last sessions without it, and I don't think Hunger needs it. On the other hand, maybe that's a way to restrict bringing into the game 10 armor chests and trolling people by being a walking tank. This is the only thing that I probably am not a huge fan of, that you can instantly switch the armor. But honestly, this can be fixed very easily. Just make an animation. Just make an animation that you cannot instantly switch armor. Make it an equip animation that it takes 2 to 3 seconds and you're good. Because in 2 or 3 seconds I can swing at least twice, with some weapons probably even faster, and you're dead before you can equip the armor. So that's something that I personally would like to see after playing around with the armor system. But everything else, the animations are cool, they're great, it works. I hope we can playtest the game again soon and find out for ourselves how great it will be. As always, in case you like these missives, don't forget to drop a like. Drop your 2 cents in the comment section. As always, I love reading that. 99% of that. Yeah, 99% I love. The 1% special. And with that, let's roll the outro. And that's it for today. Patreon wall updated already since yesterday, I think. So thank you very much for supporting me over on Patreon. Mwah. You guys are simply the freaking best. And then, as always, you can follow me here, social media, where I hopefully can share some Hunger content very soon, or some Arc Raiders, we're doing that too now, or good old Hunt Showdown. And with that, I all wish you a happy day. I see you on the next one. Until then, have a good day, and bye-bye.